Oireachtas Cullinane.
Yeah, sorry, I fully accept that that's what's in front of you, Lascian Corla, that it's statements only, but any time that we have had exchanges on the vaccine rollout, it has been questions and answers, and I've always used that facility because we have questions to ask and we need answers to those questions. So I don't believe it's a productive use of any of our time that we stand up and make long statements when people are asking us questions that they want us to put to the Minister, and then we're not going to get the response. Now, I'm assuming the Minister will say, I'll forward the response, but it was always much better to have an interaction, to go over and back and get information in real time. And I just don't think statements are the way to go. So it was obviously the government decided that for whatever reason, but I don't think it's the way to proceed.
Yeah, I completely agree with the comments made there. I don't know why there's a difficulty about questions and answers. This session that has been going on for months now, at the end of the week, where we have interaction in relation to the latest information on the vaccine programme, it's generally fairly productive, and I think the Minister hasn't had a difficulty with it. And I just wonder if the Minister was agreeable this morning to continuing like that, us using our time for Q&A. Could we arrange it like that? Is that acceptable, Lascian Corla? Because it's much more productive, and given the events of recent days and the need for us to get additional information for the public and all of that, there's endless questions to be asked about the vaccine programme. So it would be fairly meaningless for us all to be just getting up making statements. So I'd ask the Minister to concede to that request.
No, what's before me is what's before me, but I'll give the Minister a chance to reply.
Thanks, well, to be honest, I was simply told it was statements. It wasn't something I requested at all. Sure, we do Q&A all the time. I can't do it today because doing Q&A requires a huge amount of preparation. There's an awful lot of data that I need to have available for colleagues, but I fully appreciate where colleagues are coming from. So can I suggest we proceed with statements today, if as agreed, and then I can work with colleagues to find a time to do Q&A, or indeed, if colleagues have pressing questions, we could set up an informal briefing for health spokespeople, as we did on the NEFIT advice. So I'm very happy to facilitate it. It's what we've done the whole time. I just can't now because the preparatory work required to make sure I have sufficient answers for colleagues does take a significant amount of time, and that work was not done because today was for statements.
Thank you, Minister. Very briefly now, because the Minister's given his answer.
Thank you, Caoirleach, and I accept that the Minister didn't request it, but essentially what you're saying, Minister, is that you won't have the information at your disposal today that we need, which is problematic. So, like, briefings in private session, whenever they are organised, is not really what we need. People are asking us very reasonable questions in relation to the supply chain. How many of the vaccines will be available for young people and when? You made some announcement this morning, which we would all welcome. And it would have been a good opportunity to have an engagement, to get that story out, but also to tease out some of the working. So I think it's unfortunate. We have to proceed, but I think it's unfortunate.
Deputy Sharp.
Earlier on, and presumably you had preparation for that. You had, a lot of material at your disposal, and you did share information on that. So, I think you are fairly well up to date with the situation. If there are issues that we raise that you're not in a position to answer, we'd be very happy to accept a note on that afterwards. But I think you should be reasonable about this. I don't know why there would be any attempt made to limit debate in relation to this and Q&A, especially given the week that's in it. We need to be in a position to ask questions. It's not sufficient to say to us, you'll work to arrange a briefing. We waited 6 months for a briefing now from NEFIT. We got it finally this week. It's not on really to treat the House like this.
Deputy. The points have been made. Minister, now you have
point. I'm sorry, but I don't accept your final comment. I'm not treating the House like anything. I have come into this House week after week with all of you, and in good faith have engaged with questions and answers, and I'm offering to do so. The order of the House was not arranged by me. It was arranged by the Business Committee, and I've come here as requested to go through statements. And I've offered multiple alternatives to that because I recognise that the deputies have an important job to do, including a Q&A session at the next possibility, and informal briefings, to Deputy Cullinane's point, to try and get you the answers you need as quickly as possible. But I absolutely do not accept that the House has been treated with anything other than respect in me coming here as arranged by the Business Committee to take statements. Thank you.
I think the lines have been